All right, we got a game started. Hopefully, have a good one. Kind of the Moyo start. I think I see more and more. I actually see more and more. Have a good one. I actually do see more and more people do this now. In this range. The thing is, like, I don't think they. This is actually kind of a weird thing. I guess I can. Um, how do I? This is a really weird answer. I guess I can do this. I don't think this is particularly good because there's a weird move here. It's a really weird move because it's the low high thing, but it's really weird. I should do this generally, but I'm gonna go ahead and go under here because this stone here is just really awkward. I probably should have just played C15 instead of. I honestly probably should have just played C15 instead of invading over here. Because generally, like if you like, I would want to. Okay, so if I do this, he's just going to go here and then connect and then go over there, and that's no good. So I'm actually going to just Tiger's Mouth up for right now. Don't think this is good, but I'm gonna do this. All right. Since I got that move, that is actually okay. Um, I do believe the correct move here is just to do like connect to this stone, because this one isn't really worth all that much. So I'm just gonna connect here. I don't think I've ever played this start, actually. I do not think I have ever played this start. It's a very weird start. I don't even know if I should answer that. I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to play here. I know I know for a fact that this was actually a bad move. Um, I think that just gives me a free move. You definitely don't want to do that. I'm going to do this. You definitely want to. Yeah, you definitely want to jump here and not just do this extension. This extension's too slow. You didn't really get much from this. That's also not a move that's really necessary. So I'm gonna go over here. I am leaving a lot of weak groups, by the way. So I will mention that. But the Atari here isn't really Sente, so I'm not really too worried about this. But if he actually plays the regular, what? I don't think it's worth playing right now. It's a really bad choice. Yeah, there's like 3 points on the corner. Obviously, this is bad. It also improves my. So here's the thing. This is Sente first of all, but I shouldn't have done that actually. That was bad. But if you actually look at what transpired, like he played this extra move. Now this move is like useless. Because like he was trying to build the Moyo over here and that got completely ruined. So I'm actually going to go down here and separate this stone. I don't know if this is the best move possible. But white is significantly ahead at this point because black's Moyo no longer exists and all white got was a couple of points here, a couple of points on the corner, and maybe this whatever this is here. This isn't completely alive yet either. So I'm actually like I think on an even game I would actually go. Actually, no, I'm just gonna play this. Yeah, and then I'm gonna just take this time to actually improve this down here and make it into territory. Because if you really look at it, black doesn't really have any territory. And there's not a lot of potential for black to make a lot of territory right now. I think the best move would I think like one of the things like you have this weak group here, so it's going to be a little bit hard for you to attack these stones here, which would be one of your only reprieves at this point. Yeah, creating. I'm just gonna go pincer here, I guess. That's probably not a great move actually, because I should definitely like improve this out, the outlook on this group. Jumping up is definitely a way better move than this. Like generally, you don't. Yeah, like jumping up, it was a way better move than this. Also, this wasn't a good move. I probably should have just like, since this group's like not alive, I should have just pincered out here and threatened this group even more. There's no threat to this group at all. I have this stone in. And I want him to make moves like that, because those moves are kind of damaging to him. That move is also very damaging. Like pretty much all these moves are highly damaging. I'm just going to disconnect here. Now you just have more and more weak groups, and I'm just going to go ahead and play along and threaten these two out here, while threatening this in here. And get him to make me much, much stronger here as well. My group is already pretty much out, so you can't really attack me here. It's actually a pretty bad move, because if I do this, I think... No, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I don't think that's definitely not the right move. My group is already out here. You can't really do anything about this. There was I mean, this is not really all that relevant. I just have to go this way. You don't have two eyes in that whole thing. You really don't have two eyes in that whole thing, so this is irrelevant. You could try attacking this group, but there's a lot of problems with trying to attack this group. Because this group doesn't have two eyes and it's basically dead right now. It's not a good idea to let me Atari this. Definitely not a good idea to let me take that. This is kind of problematic. I guess I should do this first. Maybe I just played myself into a mess right now, but we'll see. This is a little bit problematic right now, though. I will have to say that. Because he's still got that move, I have to actually connect. I could play here, but this would actually be very problematic. So I will actually just connect this right now. Oh, that's definitely not a good move. None of these are not good moves. I mean, you're trying to live this group down here, obviously. I'm just going to disconnect this first. I know you don't have two eyes if I do this, so there's a lot of like there's actually a lot of wrong sequencing in this play here. Okay, that's Sente for me. I'm pretty sure this is alive. You know what? No, I'm just gonna come down here to make sure this group is alive. You don't need to do that. That's not something. I'm just gonna come out this way. That would actually be a good move if it wasn't for the fact that that's definitely not a good move. You see how I'm just like chasing him as I go along here? Like now I'm surrounding this group. I'm kind of just like I'm basically just letting this play out as I see it, as I see fit. Because like it doesn't really matter which groups I actually end up killing or not killing, or like just taking advantage of things like this. It's a good move. I mean, it would be. It's the wrong move. He should have played G12 to follow that up directly. See, like when you're trying to live, he's trying to live, but the problem with this is that like there's no you have to make eye shapes here. Like this Atari is basically like -1 eye shape immediately, and then I can just do something like this to protect my cuts. You you definitely have to be more flexible and bounce. You definitely have to be more flexible and bouncy in your play as you grow up in rank. Because like you got to think like what's better eye shape. If you just like do these, if you do moves like this, you basically let me threaten for free, and you not only die, but you also get gote here when you die. So it's definitely not. Something you want to be aware of. Like you, okay, now that group is getting this group is getting kind of threatened, but I've got outs here as well. It's a good move. That's not a good move. You have to get better at planning ahead, especially as you go up in rank. You definitely have to get much better at planning ahead. I can go here, but I don't think there's a way you can live. Also, I do like if I was in trouble, which I'm not. I can go with the O15 move. And he doesn't have a good response for this particular move. This isn't really a fight. I have way too many liberties for him. I have way too many liberties for him to actually fight. On both sides. If I do this, it's already game over. So like he could try to kill this group, but I don't really think that would work. Which is probably what he's trying to do, but this is not really going to work for him. He can live this thing in here, though. I mean, that's for sure. I'm going to connect this just because it does give me one eye here at least. And he does actually have to answer this. That's the wrong way to answer it, though. Oh, wait, no. I still... there's one liberty there. I messed that up. Never mind. But I'm going to go ahead and... I'm just going to go ahead and play it anyways. Does give me a little bit of wiggle room. That's whatever. I don't actually think I have to answer this. There's so many liberties. I don't think I have to answer this. He is alive here, though. He is actually alive here. He does have to answer that move, but he is actually alive there. Now he's no longer alive there. He did have to make these eyes here. These two were going to be sacrificed regardless.
Undo requested. Undo granted.
I mean, that's kind of pointless. That actually might be dead as well now in the corner. Because you can't really answer any of the peeps. Oh no, it's not, because you can actually do this over here. But I do get like a couple of stones in the corner though. It's not dead because of that move. Because like I actually do have to block off this path to go back. Yeah, that's right. That is correct. I'm just going to go ahead and... I don't have to right now, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this to shut off any, like, meaningful things. And this group is fine. He doesn't have enough liberties, like I said, to fight me here, I don't think. Because there's only, like, one or two in here. But a lot of directional and intuitive mistakes. I definitely made some mistakes around here as well. Just gonna connect this. That is useless because you can't make any eyes there.
You're me.
I'm just gonna go ahead and I don't have to actually respond to any of these things. But the thing is, I'm just going to show him that this is pretty much dead. Regardless, that like there's no actual liberties in here for him to fight because he's basically got 5 liberties. Now 3 liberties. He's basically got 3 liberties, and I've got like a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have like 7 against his 3. fix some errors here. If he does that, I have to connect this. There's no point in answering that. Like I said, he does not have enough liberties to actually pose a threat. He has roughly 3 liberties here. I'm going to just fix all my problems by doing things like this so I don't forget. It's not very useful. So you go ahead and tighten the liberties. You know, like, it's not close. It really isn't. And there's no fight here because this thing only has 2 liberties.
You have won.
All right, so let's actually go back and review this game. Let's actually go back and review this game. Kind of an interesting start. That's okay, I guess. I feel like I probably should have just played d15 instead, but that's fine. That's fine. Usually I would just do this and separate out, but you know, like, if he does this, like, there's no way I can really attack this stone, so I don't really like that. So that's why I did the undertuck, which is definitely not an ideal move here. I'm going to come up, then go over here. I think the best move would actually be easily to take that stone, have me come over here. You also kind of, like, have this option, which would actually leave me kind of out in the dark if I did that. So this would not be a good result for white. So, like, remember, like, when I go here, you can counterattack here. I mean, it's, I guess this wouldn't actually go well for, I guess this won't go well for black either. I guess you can't. Having this, this is kind of this is definitely like more of it's definitely more of like a more of a fighting start, which may not actually do all that well for black. So I guess, like, if white does that, you connect. White probably would connect this. Black probably would do something like this. That's kind of like what I'm looking for there. I do this. That's not a good move. You pretty much have to take this. Doing this and then letting me connect on the outside, you kind of like owe a move here now, and this is not complete. So doing that, obviously, I can just ignore that, and then I'm going to go here. Now, realistically, this is probably the best move, because if I do something like this, white can still threaten here, and this is still pretty threatening for black. So I should have actually just done this. So I came out here just to solidify the corner. That's fine. That's really not a good move. You definitely want to jump out. This is just simply too slow. And as you can see, it gives me the advantage of immediately attacking black here. Of course, you do this. I'm just going to fan out like this. Then I'm going to do that. That's not pertinent for right now. Here, you definitely want to jump out. Coming out top is much bigger than this, because you also, like, this isn't really that big of a deal because you can actually do this, and that's pretty good eye shape down there. So it's not really all that pertinent. You definitely want to come out and force me to actually answer over here. So Obviously, like trading this for like something like that's bad. And honestly, I probably should have just forced the issue by doing this first. But remember, like black has a very easy way to live. Like that's going to basically make black alive, more or less. So I decided not to attack that. I come out here. That's kind of an interesting move. So this obviously threatens this cut, and I guess he's looking for a Gote move here. But there's ways I can do Sente here by doing this, and that forces black out. And that gives me another Sente here to actually invade this corner. That's a very bad move. The two cuts on, oops, sorry. That's a very bad move. I don't think like most lower ranked players realize that there's cuts on both sides, and I'm obviously going to cut this side first. The best move here would probably be to do this and just give me this stone, because you cannot afford to. You definitely can't afford to do this. I think it kills too much of your moil. I mean, think about like the stones you play, like this stone, this stone, this stone, and this stone. Now those are all pretty much worthless because you don't really have any moil here anymore. So you basically got 2 or 3 points out of this, and you gave up your entire moil. So that obviously, right now that doesn't need to be done. I can't kill this group. It's already got 2 eyes. So at this point, like I would still say jump out, or even knight's move down would probably be the best move. Or possibly just do this. I mean, this move is actually really big because it connects your 2 stones, and there's a lot of territory on the bottom. So yeah, I would actually just go ahead and do this if I was black. That's actually a bad move for white. This is like, that's actually a bad move for white because once you block, and let's say like I do this, you have this option now. Whereas before, if I didn't actually charge, like, this doesn't really do anything. I can just extend out. So I'm giving up a lot of opportunity there. So that's actually a really bad move for white. Then I'm going to separate these 2 stones. Like I said, B7 was a very, very big move. Just regular moves, come up. I'm going to come up and threaten this group. Jump, I'm going to jump out. See, I'm using my advantage in threatening this group to actually make some territory down here. This isn't a good move. I honestly probably just should have done this, because like my move here is bad because if you do this, I'm now enclosed in, and there isn't really a good, I guess there isn't really a good response for me. I can do something like this. Sorry. I can do something like this at this point. But as you can see, like this isn't really the best result for me. So that's definitely not the best result for me. So I can't actually do that. I would actually have to worry about making this particular group live if you actually did something like this. I could go here first and then like do this, and this group would technically just be alive. But you get the outer surrounding. That's why I said like this move is generally a pretty bad move. The best move is probably just to go here and come out this way. If you do this, like you just do something like this, you're out. He does get that there. You probably curl overhead and then do something like this or something like that. And you still have the threat on this group. So, but once again, like there's a huge difference between this move and this move. Like this move, you get the entire surrounding and you basically clamp this group inside. Whereas like this move, you leave me a easy way out. And then like, I'm going to just do that. You come out, I'm going to do this. And like, you're always like, you notice that black's always a step behind white. These are generally very damaging moves. You do not want to make these. Unless you are absolutely desperate, you do not want to make these moves. Because you're not gaining too much on the inside. There's an eye space right there, so I can see why you're doing that. But like, this is completely pointless. Because you're not gaining anything. Like, this is a fake eye, so you're not gaining anything, and white's becoming tougher. So like I want black to actually do all these moves. So like yeah, at this point, like this is almost dead. That's also a bad move because I mean like I want you to do this. This makes me a lot stronger. So right now, like this move would actually be one that you would consider. I don't think it would actually work though. Yeah, it wouldn't actually work right now. So at this point, like black's group is pretty much dead. I don't know how you would actually make this alive. I don't think you can. Anyways, like this basically seals the deal for certain. Here I'm not really sure. Like Atari first maybe, and there's maybe some stuff in here. I'm not really exactly sure what you could actually do. If I do this, you can probably just, yeah, this wouldn't even work. So I'm not exactly sure what you could actually do. Like at this point, this group is just dead in here. So you can't actually, like, because of the situation your group is in, like this is really killer. There are moves like this though. There are actually moves like this that you could consider, because that would actually give me problems. I would have connect here, and then you have this push. So that's kind of how you would actually get out of this. So like, remember like this move. I would probably have to just go this way. And then you could come out here. That's how you would actually escape this black group. There's got to be like, there's Tanukis that you have to like be able to play. Like, not Tanukis. There's Tasujis like this that you actually have to be able to play. But obviously, like, just doing that basically gets rid of that Tasuji, and it's very hard for black to live now. Even here, though, like, if black does this, black is actually alive. Because white has to prevent him from actually connecting the two groups, and then you can actually do this, and you're basically alive. So there was a couple of chances that he missed there to make this group alive. And these, like, you know, and this is, like, moves like this is just using, moves like this, essentially. Could he sack H4 stones? You mean these stones? I mean, he could, but there's no reason to actually do that. What? Oh. He could, but there's no reason to actually do that, because, like, this is actually alive. You would probably just Atari this first. Or, you know, the thing is, like, before you do this, you can just Atari this first. I could co with you, but I probably wouldn't. If I did this, you would do this, and your group is actually alive. So there's actually no reason for him to sacrifice much of anything. This black group is not really dead. Like, essentially, until he trades these moves, and even now, like, black does have the option to do that. Even now, black does actually have the option to do something like this, right? So up until I do this, up until this move, like, black is basically, like, after this move, black is pretty much dead. H5. Peep and push. This won't work. I don't really see how this would even work. Like, because the thing is, you have to kind of like connect this here, and then I would just do this, and this white group is more or less alive. So that actually wouldn't work. But there were so many opportunities to actually just make alive down here that was actually unnecessary. So after I do this move, it's pretty much dead. This just makes it like more dead. That doesn't make any sense, and that just solidifies that group is dead. The game's over at this point, more or less. The peeping doesn't really make any difference, and realistically, like, you would either want to like do this to solidify this group at this point, or just escape this out here. Just gonna push this out, come down here. There is something to be said about that, and then pushing here. But right now, I don't think this would actually work too well for you. But the thing is, that is one way to actually play it. I wouldn't recommend it in most situations, but in this situation, maybe. Letting me Atari here is bad. Doing that, I actually made a mistake here. I did actually make a mistake here, because he should have just went ahead and done this and forced me to pop this back. Now, it's not going to rescue your group, but it does make you a little bit more solid. At this point, you would have to do this, and I would probably have to do something like this. take the back route and then like do something like this for Sente, more or less. I would probably end up doing something like this, just to make sure that this particular group is actually still alive down here or something. So there's a bunch of moves there. This is the wrong. This is the wrong move here. This is just not good. So I'm gonna disconnect this, obviously. And after I disconnect this, like, you probably want to save this group in here. This group is bigger than these stones here. Because you're not going to be able to kill this group. Your group's already dead. So these stones, not as big as this group in here. So saving these stones, letting me kill this, obviously bad. And then, like, this is completely unnecessary because I can't kill you. I can't kill you here, so you should have just jumped out or something. So lets me get this move. This move doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, the biggest move here, the biggest move right now is actually down here. Because like this actually does threaten this a little bit, and it makes sure that I don't get all this territory down here. It's gonna come out. So this is actually a good move. But the follow-up was not very good. If you're gonna do this, you have to do this. You want the double peep. What about cutting F3? I don't think there was a cut there. I'm not sure. But if you're gonna do this, you definitely want to do this, because if I connect here, this is actually a viable cut now. White can do something like this. And that could actually be somewhat troublesome. I guess like this wouldn't really favor black either, but at this point, like this group actually might be in danger. So this is a more complex fight, but this is actually the way you want to go. Like if you're going to in this situation, I have two peeps. You might want to peep this first and then you peep this. I would have to connect, and you definitely want to, because if white does this, you just kind of like do that. But if white counter peeps, you connect, and then white has to do something like this. And then maybe like you do something like this. I feel like that's the way you almost have to go at this point. To invite some kind of a fight, because like that gives you at least some chance you're going to rescue some stones. Whereas like with what black did here, whereas with what black did actually here, that's also useless because this is a lot more important. This group is much harder to kill if you do that than if you just do this. Lets me jump in. That move is like, usually this move is good because it prevents the two sides from connecting, but here it's really bad because there's no, like, you're trying to live and there's no eye space for this. Like this is much more, I mean, I think black is pretty much dead anyways, but like if you're black, you definitely have to try things like this to actually, if you're black, you definitely have to try things like this to actually try to like live right now. Right? Because if you're just trying to prevent me from going back over, I'm just gonna break your eye space and then you're dead. So that's definitely like a mistake there. Like that's an intuitive mistake. That's a big intuitive mistake. Like you're thinking that, oh, I have to prevent him from connecting, but you're not thinking like, why am I trying to prevent him from connecting? The two sides, like I'm trying to live in here. This move does not give me any eye space, and his two groups aren't under threat. So this move is no good. So you have to look at the situation and like, what do you actually need? And that was just a wrong intuitive decision. So that was more or less the entire game right there. The rest of the game, honestly, is not really worth reviewing all that much. But a lot of like an intuitive mistake right there. Definitely a lot of directional mistakes right here and down here. So I hope you learned something from this game. I hope you learned something from this game. Like and subscribe, hit the bell notifications button, and I'll be back later on. I will see you guys later.